50 years ago, Colorado was not the state you know today. Peoples depended on each other. Cities stopped for floods, fairs, and funerals. Today's Colorado is tourism and transit. 50 years ago, it was handshakes, church suppers, and radio weather reports. What held Colorado towns together before Wi-Fi, highways, and high-rises? The answer is not money. To understand where the state is going, you need to see how it once lived. You step into Colorado of the 1970s. You feel small towns, growing cities, strong neighbor ties. You see a state shifting from frontier to modern. You see people building lives. This is Colorado community life before 1975, roughly 50 years ago. Demographic shifts. In 1950, Colorado's total population was about 1,318,048. By 1971, the population reached about 2.25 million. Even then, we were already seeing significant population growth, in large part due to the establishment of several new federal government agencies during the 1950s and 1960s. After World War II, several military and scientific institutions were established in Colorado, including the establishment of the Air Force Academy. The state's growth rate between 1951 and 1971 was rapid. Migration and economic expansion drove that change. Urban areas expanded. Many people moved from rural counties into front-range cities. In 1971, much of the population was white and of European descent. The proportion of non-white populations was smaller than today. Economy and employment. Agriculture still played a role in rural Colorado. Farms, fruit orchards, cattle operations sustained many communities, especially in mountain counties. Mining and extraction industries had an impact, especially in the mountains. Mines for coal, silver, gold, and other minerals existed. Government and defense installations mattered. The U.S. Air Force Academy opened in 1957 and drew workers and support industries. Federal agencies, military installations, and scientific labs provided stable jobs in and near cities. Construction boomed. Roads, dams, infrastructure projects gave work. Tourism grew. Mountain lodges, recreation areas brought seasonal jobs. In cities, you had manufacturing, utilities, transport, shops, and local government. Physical layout and infrastructure. Towns had grid streets, central squares, main streets with local shops, and many homes were modest. Wood frame, brick, modest lots. In cities, neighborhoods formed by ethnic groups, migrations, and income levels. Infrastructure, roads, water systems were improving, but often lagged in smaller places. Public transit existed in Denver and larger towns via buses and some regional systems. Schools and churches often stood at the heart of neighborhoods. Utilities, electricity, telephone, water, sewage expanded during those decades, reaching more rural homes. Social bonds and institutions. You knew your neighbor. You shared tasks. Barn raisings, harvest help, communal work. Churches were central. They offered worship, social gatherings, moral norms. Schools were hubs, not only education but sports events and community meetings. Civic clubs held weight. Lions, Rotary, Grange, Masonic lodges. Local newspapers, radio stations, and festivals tied people to place. Towns held parades, county fairs, sporting events. Informal support systems existed. Families helped each other in illness or crisis. Social expectations were stricter. Gender roles and social norms were stronger. Race and ethnicity. Minorities, including Black, Hispanic, existed in Colorado, though often marginalized. Racial segregation occurred informally in neighborhoods and social clubs. Native American communities, Ute and Arapaho, retained presence in parts of Colorado. Many towns excluded minorities socially through practice, policy, or expectations. Civil rights movements reached Colorado. Protest push for more inclusion. LGBTQ life existed, though hidden. Denver's gay community organized despite pressure. Challenges and tensions. Natural disasters struck. The 1976 Big Thompson flood killed 145 people, destroyed 420 homes and 153 businesses. Economic volatility in mining and agriculture meant boom and bust cycles. Infrastructure lagged in remote places. Roads muddy, power unreliable. Access to medical services was uneven. Rural clinics, doctors in small towns were limited. Education quality varied by district and funding. Population growth in urban areas put pressure on housing and transportation. Social mobility barriers existed. If your family lacked connections, upward mobility was harder. Daily life and culture. Families gathered for meals, stories, chores. People walked to local church, school, and post office. Kids often helped in farms or chores. Social life tied to church socials, school dances, town fairs, and county events. Radio and newspapers were prime media. Television existed, though reception faint in remote areas. Local festivals and parades were frequent. Differences by region. In mountain areas, you lived in sparser population, tight community, and rugged terrain. Western Slope had fruit orchards, mining towns, smaller cities. On Front Range, you saw faster growth and rising suburbs. Eastern Plains remained more agricultural, more rural, more isolated. In high alpine communities, seasonal access limited. In resort towns, tourists came, shifting local economies. Transition toward today. After 1971, growth accelerated. Today, Colorado has over 5.8 million people. The state's population became more diverse. The share of people identifying as Black, Asian, Native American, or other nearly doubled from 1981 to 2021. Many young adults moved into Colorado for opportunities, creating demographic shifts. The aging population grew. Many of the baby boomers stayed. Urbanization increased. More suburban spread. More commuting. Infrastructure improved. Highways, communications, utilities, and medical systems. Social norms relaxed. More acceptance of diversity. New social movements. Technology reached daily life. Television, telephone, and computers. Local institutions adapted, declined, or transformed. Some small towns struggled with population loss. What you should take away. Community life before 50 years ago was local, interconnected, slower, with strong norms. Social institutions, churches, schools, civic groups, anchored life. People faced hardship from nature, economic cycles, isolation. Change was underway, urban growth, migration, and infrastructure. You learn now by seeing how people lived then, how they built foundations for today. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new about how Colorado communities lived 50 years ago, show your support. Hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that bring history to life.